What's going on, guys? Welcome to Drive Talk Therapy. Today we're going to talk about self-love and happiness. Yesterday we were on topic about relationships, but the reason why I wanted to discuss this is because this affects relationships. You got to make yourself happy first before you can make others happy. And, that takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. You got to figure out what's not making you happy. It could be your depression. It could be your past traumas. It could be, your PTSD or whatever mental state you're going through at the time or at the moment or in the moment, And, that affects everything else. All kind of different relationships, friendships, intimacy. It affects a lot of things, So, try to make yourself happy. Try to work on yourself. Try to, engage in activities that keeps you preoccupied and keeps you busy and keeps you focused on yourself. That's why I hit the gym, because I'm focusing on myself, that's why, I work a lot, just because I like to keep busy. I don't like to be distracted. My methods work for me. You might have different methods that work for you. But, don't just jump into a relationship when you're miserable. That's why 90% of relationships fail, is because the individual is not happy. And they bring that unhappiness into the relationship. And then what happens? Disaster. That's why marriages fail. That's why existing relationships fail. It's because the individuals are not happy. And then what happens? It leads to cheating. It leads to lying. It leads to you doing other things. Make yourself happy. And if you're not happy in a relationship, don't just string it along. Be honest with that individual and tell them, look, I'm not happy. This ain't working out. And move on. Don't make things matters worse. Don't let it affect kids or other family members, because that happens a lot too. And that breaks families apart. And that creates traumas and depressions on other individuals that weren't even related to that situation. They were just affected indirectly. So guys, I can't stress it enough. Make yourself happy first, please. Find happiness within yourself by any means, doing whatever that makes you happy. Because remember, you're not going to make nobody else happy unless you make yourself happy first. And I constantly repeat that same thing over and over again because I want it embedded in your mind. Anyway, guys, tell your loved ones you love them. You might not get another chance.